Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Kev Baker Show right here on Truth Frequency Radio, www.tfrlive.com. And boy, oh boy, have I got a brilliant show lined up for all of you today. I've done nearly 1,200 shows in my time here on TFR. I've come across so many interesting people along the way. And from time to time, the information presented on the show, it's been met with varying responses. But I can hand on heart tell you that in nearly 1,200 shows, there has never ever been the response to any show like I got the first time that I was joined by today's guest. And the response, well, if anyone witnessed it playing out over on social media, it was mind-blowing to say the least. Now, podcasters and radio hosts of a kind of a lesser constitution than I, maybe don't have the kahunas that I have, might have shied away from doing shows with a particular guest that causes so much controversy, that triggers so much people. But then if you think that, then you don't know me well enough, because that convinced me to do it all again. And not only that, it inspired today's guest to come back as well. And last time we played nice with Tia. She showed us the good witch. And today, oh boy, hold on folks, because Tia is back. And for anyone who doesn't know Tia, let me just fill you in there. Because Tia Belle is a psychic medium, having been blessed with the God-given ability to provide others with insight, guidance and direction. Tia gives spiritual advice and support to her clients. Now, as a medium, she has helped people connect with loved ones who have crossed over. And Tia's gift became evident when she was just 3 years old and began to experience visits from the deceased who communicated with her. She spent years of her early childhood trying to understand why she was chosen, and Tia spent most of her life concealing her spiritual abilities from the public, only making them known to family and close friends. By age 11, Tia was actively reading and advising family and friends. Then a turning point in her life occurred when Tia experienced a near-death experience. And it goes on to say here, the impact caused Tia to leave her life she once knew in law enforcement. And she knew at this time that the turn of events is now to help others, not with a gun, but with her psychic abilities. So after many appearances in the Real Housewives of New Jersey, no less, Tia was chosen by A&E for a reason. For a season of her own show called Psychic Tia. Although the show was well received, we concluded in one season. Now, Tia looks forward to embracing new developments and constantly spreading the word of Wicca and psychic abilities throughout the nation. So without any further ado, let me go live now to our good friend, Tia Belle. How are you doing, Tia?
Hi, Kev. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing very well. And this is one show that I'm really looking forward to, Tia. It really is, because the reaction that we got the last time, my word, I've never seen anything like it. And that inspired the two of us to do it all again. Only this time, we're going to go far, far further.
Absolutely. I think we rattled a little bit of the cages, so to speak, last time. And I was on my good behavior. So now I'm on my broom. And everybody better watch out.
Exactly. The naughty witch is here today. And I re-listened.
Yes,
I re-listened to the show that we done. And I'm even more confused now as to why people reacted so negatively. Because all I heard you talking about in that show was being positive, helping people, guiding people to happiness, and in no way disrespectful to anyone else out there. You were respectful of all belief systems. Yeah, if only people could respond in the same way to you.
Kev, it's crazy because we made sure that, especially me being the first time guest on your show, that I wanted to make sure that I talked about what positivity in the world and the work that I do, how I do it, and the people that are on my Facebook or people that have come to me to be read, they did watch Psychic Tia, all know that everything comes from a place of positive energy, love, and guidance. So, to have, I think it's a little bit of small minded. And that's a little bit of the problem because you don't know my world. So right away you have to criticize it. And that's, I think, listen, for all the listeners that you have, we only had a handful of kooks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's always that small minority that seem to get their voice heard. And my friend Joe says it only takes one poo to spoil the punch bowl. And it seems to be the
Yeah.
case when it comes to this. But we're going to get into so much tonight. And like you were saying, you were on Housewives of New Jersey. And you also have something called The Craft, your shop. And you're in your shop tonight, right? We can see you there in
I
your
am
shop.
in my shop. Here, I'm going to do a little. I am in my shop right now. So it's nice and witchy. And this is where we do our readings. And this is where we do all of our magic. Um, it's my playhouse. I told this when I was in, I think one of the first episodes of Psychic Tea, I said, this is my playhouse and you have to be invited to play here. So I think I had done for a while, I had my shop where it was public access. And I stopped that. I'm very particular about whom I want to walk in. This is my place of business. It is my craft. And if you're going to come in and you're going to have that skeptic or some sort of alternative sort of belief that, we all want to hang the witch again, you can't get in.
I like that attitude. I truly do like that attitude. And you were even saying you've got the cauldron ready for tonight, right?
I do. This is my baby. So tonight we're going to clean the cauldron. Our moon that we're in is in a new moon, and our new moon is in Libra. And this is a moon that's for your desires, people. So sex magic. I brought some of my candles in here in case we have a difficulty. And instead of it being like this, and it's more like this, I think this would work. And then we have to remember that we do have a vagina candle. So this is just part of a small little tiny window of magic that we do here at the craft.
Absolutely. And when I first checked you out before you came on the show the first time, this was the thing that really got me because you talk about various spells, protection spells, love spells. But the common theme in all of it, Tia, was that you were trying to help people. And that's one of the things I want to get across to people is we need to really keep our minds open because you hear the word witch and people automatically have negative connotations with that. And they can't they can't see beyond that part. And I'm quite keen on the positive stuff that you do.
Well, there's a reason why witch and bitch rhyme. So this should be something that somebody should take into consideration. And it depends on which day you get me or how you get me. But yes, everything is done from a positive standpoint. I'm going to say this, and I've said this numerous times. There is always a white, there is always a dark. We are white witches. We work with white light. My 6-year-old granddaughter can explain to you what it's like to have white light and be a white witch. Now, if a 6-year-old can figure that out and have an open mind, then how come these narrow-minded people have to go in without any knowledge and right away start to want to tear you down? So this is my theory. And the other question, Kev, I was really dying to ask you this. This is a paranormal radio show, is it or is it not?
It's paranormal, stroke, Sasquatchy, stroke, anything at all. I go into physics, quantum physics a lot, but you'd be surprised because some of the quantum physics I think's tying in with the natural energies that people like you are able to harness and take advantage of.
Yeah, well, the last I checked, you're not an evangelicalist, so I don't have to worry that I'm on some sort of a Bible show.
No, I try and cater for everyone's belief system.
Then I don't understand why people would come on. The people that come on, and I'm going to tell this to the people that are listening right now. If you're going to come on and harass Kev or myself, because you're on the wrong network, you're on the wrong station. If you're going to come on because you want to tear us down, criticize us, call us names, or call me Satan, I tell you this. Go and find a channel that you can listen to somebody and talk your preaching, because that's not what this is.
I absolutely agree 100%. And you've basically encapsulated the idea behind the network, Truth Frequency Radio, because that's exactly the way we work. You know, we don't stick to one topic. We don't cater for just one belief system out there. We try to provide everyone with information from all sides of any debate, Tia. And it's important that
Yeah.
people can keep their minds open. And okay, if it offends you, well, it offends you, but keep that to yourself because it's only going to encourage me and Tia to go even further.
Well, there was a saying that we used to use when I was a police officer: keep it moving. So if you're going to try and come here and get stuck and you're going to start blowing up everybody's Facebook and talking kind of smack, now I'm going to get a little ghetto girl on everybody.
I
You're
like
going to
it.
start talking smack about everything. You know what? We're not going to acknowledge you. Go find someone else. And if you think I need to be saved, I don't think you're looking at me because I'm doing really well.
You're definitely doing well there. And I wonder, have I been wise to enter into the coven of Tia tonight? Because I tell you
Oh,
what,
baby,
I'm
yes.
telling you, I was saying I could end up bewitched by the end of this. So
Well, listen, and listen, we do it right here. So I have my chalice ready. We'll salute you today, Cav, on bringing me on again.
excellent stuff. I'm liking it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the vibe already, Tia. And so let's start with love magic then. I mean, I've heard you talking about love magic, stuff like that. Talk to us about what that is.
I love magic. I love people to be in love. I've had more people get married, which is why, by the way, I am a reverend and I do marry people. So let's just realize that for a second too, before everybody wants to see if I float. Um, there's like a little meow coming in.
I like it.
So we do love magic. Now, this is what I'm going to say, Kev. There has to be a certain level of being realistic in the world. If you're driving on the train and you're going into Manhattan and there's the hot guy in the second seat, he doesn't know you're alive. We're really not doing a love spell on him. You got it?
Yeah.
That's free will. But what we do is we take someone that may be in a marriage, or we take someone that's in a relationship and things are not going so great, and we need to bind it and we need to make it stronger and we need to bring some energy to it. So think about what I do as like a boost of an energy shot, like vitamins.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, this goes back to the whole guiding people to happiness, Tia, for me, because you're basically making the conditions just right, using the natural energies and everything to bring those energies back together. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I mean, we were the witches were the ones back in the days with the kings that we did everything from childbirth to psychic readings, and being the right arm of people that are in royalty. I believe if you go by another book, we were prophets. So, I'm all of a sudden now we're just in some sort of a biblical warfare that I don't understand it, that there's no free thinking. Everything has to be categorized. Life is not like that.
Everything's got labels on it nowadays, Tia, doesn't it? And all that serves to do is divide us even further at a time when we're the most connected we've ever been. We should be the most spiritually elevated as well because of the information that's at our fingertips.
Truth. Very true. And we talk about that quite a bit, that back in my day, I had to find out what I was because I was, so thrown into it. And I actually had to go to the library and I had to look up I always say I'm the only person you can tell my age, the Dewey Decimal System. Today, if you said that to a child, they'd laugh. They don't even know what that is.
You're so right there. You are so right there. But you don't look an age over 25. This magic is working
God,
well
I
for you
love
too.
you, Kev.
Yeah, this magic is working well for you. So say somebody comes to you, one of your friends, and they say, listen, I don't know, the pizzazz, the love, there's something missing at home. What would be Tia's process from there to reignite those fires?
I like working with candle magic. I'm a big fan. I go through candles and candles and candles in this place. It's obscene. And I do everything where everyone is very protective. I've had women, I mean, if y'all sell practical magic, I've had the women that come in, like the woman with the bird, and want to take things two steps. And I'm like, look, you're gambling and you're going somewhere that I am telling you you're not allowed to go. So everything is done very safe. I've been doing this since I'm 11 years old. I've been a witch since I'm 11. I guide people in a very safe zone, working with white light protection. And I usually like to teach them and work with them on the level of candles. Um, Anything out back with fire cauldron, it usually comes from a place that you should have knowledge. You should be working in it probably, a couple of years. Uh, One good thing I want to announce with you coming up is I'm going to be opening a facility and I'm going to be doing witch classes and I'm going to start teaching and educating on it.
Well, I tell you, I think that's quite important, especially at this time, Tia. And the reason I say that is we've had such a spate of shows that depict witches and the paranormal and the twilight and everything else. And I imagine that's probably introduced a lot of people to these topics. And then my fear is if people are looking at these things, they're not doing it right or they get misled down the wrong path. So I like the fact that you're saying that. I mean, you were even sharing last time that some of the TV housewives of America, you were on one of these shows, but even they're now masquerading around as mediums and things. So, I think it's important. I like this idea.
Yeah, and it's all about safety and it's all about respect and it's a huge bond. I see women that are very catty with each other and women have a difference than men. Men have a general bonding effect that you see, ergo the sports and all of that.
Yeah.
And women have always had that more aloof behavior amongst each other. And when you bring in this type of a feminine beauty, like witchcraft, and you start to bring people together, it's so wonderful to watch. I watch women come in and it's just everyone is at ease. There's no airs. They're excited. It's taking control in your life. It helps people in depression.
You see, how can any of that things that you've just listed there, how can that possibly be seen as a bad thing to people out there? That's what I don't understand. And I know that the kind of topics we touch on here will rub up against people, but you need to really, there we go. And what we're looking at, there's the pentagram, right?
That's my book of shadows. This is my personal space. This is my book of shadows. I will teach everyone that comes in. What we're going to do is we're also going to be able to, you're going to be able to dial in and be able to come, and we'll have computer classes live in the classroom. So you don't have to just be in New Jersey. We're going to be able to come in from all over and you'll be able to partake in it. But this is just the tip of the iceberg of us bringing in what type of work that we do and how serious it is.
Awesome. I really like that idea, and I hope it goes really, really well for you, Tia. I really, really do. Now then,
thank you.
These candles that you were showing us before, the candles that are bound to trigger people out there, tell me what on earth's going on with them.
Okay, so what we do is there's work that literally has to be done. As witches, what we need to do is we carve, we prepare. So there's a lot of things that are done that there's preparation. It's, what I always say, it's attributed to cooking.
Yeah.
So if you were to cook and it said that you needed a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda, well, if you didn't put that in, whatever you were making, probably bread, would not rise.
This is so bizarre, Tia, so bizarre, because unbeknown to you, when we were kind of getting ready for today's show, I'd done a stream earlier on, and we were talking about cooking, and in the article it came up cooking being like alchemy, and of course, magic, alchemy. And here we are now. Magic. You're putting the two things together. See, this tells me we were meant to do this show.
Absolutely. So that alchemy that we work with and all of that, you can't substitute. There's, a lot of people like to think in life that you can substitute certain things. And in the alchemy and working with all of this rhythm, it has to be done precise. And also involved in that is just, what is your intent? What is your intent in life when you're doing this magic? So this goes without saying at any part in life as far as, is your intentions noble? or are they going to come from some sort of a demise? Now, that's the person, Kev. That's not generality.
No, I've got you. Yeah, I hear you totally, totally. So these candles, come on, show us your candles again. Let's see what this is all about. What would be one of your? There we go.
This would be so. This would be something that you would have to. We call it. We would have to dress it. Now, that doesn't mean that I sit with Barbie clothes and put it on a penis. Okay,
No,
Kev?
that would be disturbing.
So what it does mean, though, it means that we would be anointing it. We would be using oils. We would be using some sort of a tool. We would be changing it. We would be carving it. So that would be something that we would work in with the dressing aspect of it. Now, I mean, I am very LGBT. So I have a very large clientele that is LGBT. So we're really going to go down with fire today. I'm sure in the Bible world, the thumpers are going to come out because here's a vagina. So for all my little lesbians out there, come to Mama because she'll help you. And this would be in the same direction that we would dress and we would work upon this. Now, this is love magic. This could be a point. Now, not everyone's love life. Let's say we're in love. But let's say our sex life, not so good. That would be a direction that we would go into, Kev.
Got you. Absolutely. No, that makes sense. And of course, again, you mentioned something really critical there that we talk about all the time, Tia, and that is intent. And the intent behind these spells, these workings, they're so, so important, aren't they?
The intent, I think that goes, that I'm going to say is a very broad spectrum. Aside from just what you and I are talking about, Kevin, doing this, it has to do with no matter, you could wish someone harm and just manifest that by your own hatred.
Yeah.
Now, those people are all over.
Yep.
And they do it constantly, but they're not categorized. But yeah, you're wishing something dark on someone. We never do that in the craft, and we never do that, and we never will. I don't go dark, and I never will go dark. Whether you want to believe that I work with God, that's your own prerogative. I'm not here to convince anyone, Kev. This is who I am. You want to jump on a board? You want to come have a great time? You want to get a great reading? We're good. You want to come in and you want to start thinking you're going to save me? Honey, good luck.
Good luck indeed. And last time, we're almost on the break here, but we came back from the break in the first episode and you had been contacted, you had a message from somebody, and you had mentioned the sore knee. Now, at the time, Tia, that didn't really tick any boxes for me personally, but it was a few days later my mum got back to me and she said, when she thought back about it, my granddad did have problems with his knee when he passed. So, again, confirmation of the message you had got for me personally during the show. And I thought that was really cool. Not that I needed more confirmation, because I've watched enough of your stuff now. I've seen what people say about you as well. And, you're the real deal. Big time.
Oh, thanks, Kev. Listen, to me, it's a way of life. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm used to it. I think if I lost my ability, because I've been talking to the dead since I'm 3, I think it would be like losing my voice because I'm so used to it. And I know the solace that it gives people. So, and I'm good where I am. I like who I am. And I'm thrilled when someone leaves here. Saturday was just a crazy day at the craft and people were just in and out and it was crazy and they were so happy. And Tia, I can't wait to come back. And that's what I live for. That's what I live for.
Exactly. And we talk all the time, I say it all the time about solutions and things like that. And if you're giving somebody happiness, if you're taking away depression, if you're helping positively in any way, then there's nothing wrong with feeding off of that, Tia. It shows me that your heart's in the right place. Your intentions
Absolutely.
are definitely positive. And if it's helping people, then who is somebody on the outside to knock that if it's literally helping somebody?
We have, I've done so much work between television and my work here, and that my life is so full up on Facebook with everyone that gives their comments, and quite honestly, there's a handful. Even out of Psychic Tia, I thought they were going to come out the woodwork. I was such a positive experience. I had maybe one. We're living larger than the people that want to run around and blow things up. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's like I was saying to somebody today. I really don't pay much attention to the trolls or the haters because if you give them energy, it just feeds it and it just keeps that going and it ends up in a vicious cycle and you can never get out of it. And in the end of the day, I think it says more about them than it does about me or you for the show that we done.
Well, what you're saying to me is the exact thing that we tell people not to do with the demons. So there you go.
Go figure, folks. Go figure. Now, we are right on the break. So, what we're going to do is we're going to break for 3 minutes and then we are going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. And Tia, we're still live on YouTube right now, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm live here too on my Facebook.
Excellent. A big shout out to everyone on Tia's Facebook. Yeah.
Say hi to Kev Baker.
That's it.
I hope you're listening or you're on Kev's show. So that would be wonderful. And you guys can recap it, right? Can you tell them a little bit on how to recap?
How to recap, like what we've just talked about?
How they can find you again after this goes down.
Yeah, no problem.
On YouTube.
Yeah, you can find me, The Kev Baker Show, on YouTube. You can get the audio over at tfrlive.com. I'll be tweeting this out. I'll be putting it on Facebook. It'll be in many places. It'll go... I try to make it go viral as I can, but I think probably people coming back to hate on us, Tia, will help boost the numbers of this show.
Child's play.
You know it's going to happen. But we've got about 2 minutes before we go back on air. I want to say a big thank you to everyone tuning in over on YouTube right now. And I knew today's show was going to be good, and I'm having so much fun already. And when we come back, remember, Tia, to ask me about Crowley's house because...
Oh, I was waiting for after the break.
Yep, there you go. And don't forget to light your cauldron.
No, we have to do that.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do that right before we go to end, and it's got to be clean. So
excellent.
Just another part about cleaning up. So I'll actually spin on that, and we'll get that going. So
excellent. And
I can't wait to ask you.
Now, before we come back onto the main network, what's your take on these things that you call shadow people? I've been watching a thing lately with this entity called Shadow Dude. Have you ever experienced anything like these shadow figures or anything like that?
I just did it. I just had a house with that. Listen, when it's a shadow thing or a person or a shadow entity, it's never usually positive. Let's call it what it is. I mean, It's not coming from a place of white light.
No, I totally agree with you there. And it's quite weird because this is, I've had problems in the past. I caught something in my house out the corner of my eye. And more recently now, I've come to find out that my brother, he's had 2 episodes just recently in his house. And the thing is, Tia, and I'll get into this on the other side of the break as well, we both went to Belle AKA House together. And ever since then, things have just got so weird for both of us. It truly has. And of course,
I definitely want to go into that.
Yeah. And I mean, Crowley's house, they're even opening it up to the public now. They're going to make like a school of Crowley. So,
no.
Yeah.
No, see now this is what, when we get the people that want to come and bust our chops, this is what they should be going after.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you totally.
I mean, trying to, literally make this okay to literally worship the devil in some sort of a school type situation. Like, focus big time, people. Focus on what's really going on here.
Exactly.
Because he's alive and well.
Oh, it's well, I'd done an Ask Me Anything session on here yesterday, and that was one of the questions. What's the scariest place you've ever been? And it nowhere comes close to Belle AKA House, Crowley's old place. Just nowhere even compares to that place, Tia.
There was such an intensity that there's probably a porthole that is open there.
Yeah.
Because it just has to be because of the work that was done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other part to that was he was mentally ill. So, take that and combine that with where he was going. That's dark, people. That's very dark. We're going to use the word. Yeah, it's Satan. It's dark. It's really not that complex. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring back the network, Tia. Here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're joined by Tia Belle today, right here on the Kev Baker Show. Tia, let people know where they can find your work, where they can check out the shop as well.
Sure, it's The Craft by Tia is my website, and my number is 201-857-4990, and you are welcome to call, leave a message. We do Skype readings. You don't have to be living in New Jersey, and we'll accommodate you. But if you need a reading we do a lot of advice too, Cav. We don't charge for advice for people to find solace, but Cav, I had a conversation with one of my paranormal investigators,
Okay.
and he said he would love to go into Aleister Crowley's house.
Oof.
And I said, oh, God, no. And I heard rumor you were there.
Not once, but twice, Tia. And yeah, Aleister Crowley. People have heard me talk about this, but I grew up in a village called Fort Augustus on the banks of Loch Ness, and that's really close to where the actual Boleskine house is. So we decided to go and visit Boleskine house after there had been a fire there. Now, my brother and his friend, they'd been up before me, and they had had stones thrown at them. There was voices being recorded on the camcorder and things. All your typical paranormal activity.
Yeah.
So I thought, we'll go back there. You know, I want to experience this for myself. My partner, Anne, was with me. And she got to the part of the building where Aleister Crowley done the magic. And it's Abramelin magic. He was calling forth the Dukes of Hell or something like that. He called it the Guardian Angel, but it was nothing angelic about these things.
No.
And immediately Anne just walked no further and she said, no way, I am not going in there. And I must admit, the feeling already for myself and my brother, you could feel something weird. So he goes into the room and, well, to say whispering in the ears, things thrown off the walls. And from that point forward, now I can't definitively say that this was the reason, but my health suffered, my brother's health suffered, the other people that have gone there, they've had bad luck following them. I ended up with a shadow dude in my toilet. My brother now, like I was sharing with you during the break, he's having problems with these shadow dudes. And again, I can't definitively prove it to you, but there is some kind of portal there, and whether we had something attached to us or something followed us, because we went in there really disrespectfully, to be honest with you. We didn't really prepare for it right. And in the end of the day, Aleister Crowley's old house, that's like going to ground zero of paranormal activity. It's like,
Right?
yeah, exactly. It's like going from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds. It was stupid. I see that now. But yeah, to your friend out there, here's the thing. The house itself is no more, and it's going to be rebuilt. And what they're doing is, and they've set it up as a charity, they're actually setting up a school of Thelema. And it's the stuff that Aleister Crowley, his type of magic, is going to be taught to people in and around the area and anyone who wants to come for a stay.
No, that is a because of who I am and the gift that was given to me, I've always had to be very careful and if I go into somewhere, I have to be careful. What would he want more than to take a child that God's given a gift to?
Yep, exactly.
So I've been very apprehensive. I probably would not ever enter there due to that. And they do see it on me, so it does exist.
And Tia, something else. Here's an example of something else that we've seen in there. If you think of the base of a bed, you've got the wooden base, and then you've got the fabric over it, okay? And then the mattress goes on top of that. So there was one of these wooden bases in there with the fabric all over it. And you could see written into the fabric, I warned you not to play here. Now, you could think to yourself, well, somebody who's been up to the property, they've done this, try and scare people. Because there's obviously people going up there practicing black magic. You can tell from the symbols that are around and stuff like that. But when you inspected this writing closer, and I've shown this on a video on YouTube, and I've done it on the show as well, the thing about the writing was it didn't come from outside in. In other words, it wasn't etched from the outside. It had been from inside the fabric, etched so that it was embossed out the way. And there was no way you could get inside the fabric.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying, Tia? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like fingernails from inside or something like that had done it.
Lifting up.
Yeah. And like I said, there was evidence of Ouija boards there. There was obviously people. It's going to be somewhere that people that follow Crowley want to go to, right? So,
listen, I don't know why, but there's a big rise in a lot of people that are going into dark magic.
yeah.
And this is not something that I will never do. I never have done. I advise highly against it. And you know what? For the people that do it, go do it. Leave me alone. Don't bring me there. I have a problem with sacrifices. I have a problem with the whole thing. And there's a lot of it that goes on more than what people realize. That's why I think it's funny that people actually want to pick on us there, Kev.
Oh, tell me about it. You know we're going to trigger a million people with this show. You know it. But your advice to like anyone going and thinking they can go into one of these paranormal locations, be
Please
it,
don't.
yeah.
You know, there was a great story with Marilyn Manson that was on Celebrity Ghost Stories, A&E, one of my favorite shows. And he they went to some sort of a hut that was being used. And there was a book there that was something, because we all have tools. Everybody's got a book. And when he picked it up, and he was raised very Christian, very Catholic. And he had a very bad situation happen to him in there. He was scared out of his mind. This is a person that just turns around and does theater. And just because he does theater doesn't mean that he does this in his personal worship. So my advice is, if you don't know what it is and it has something that tells you not to go, do not go.
Exactly.
Don't dabble.
And these shadow entities I mentioned to you during the break, we've been really, I hate to say enjoying, okay? But there's a house that's called Carmel, and it's in Maine or something. And there's this thing called the Shadow Dude. And it's the most manifested, like, solid shadow thing I've ever seen in my life, okay? And then while we've been watching these clips on the live streams at the weekend, my brother, he only really just found out about my experience with the Shadow Dude. And he thought people would think he was crazy if he shared his couple of stories, because in recent times, Tia, he's had something. It's not the corner of the eye shadow stuff. It's like physically something in the room there. So what would you say? I mean, what are these shadow entities, and what advice could you give?
Listen, just tell him it's absolutely go into prayer, 100%. Work with holy water. That is what, that's what you need to do. You have to battle. There's a battle between good and evil that's going to go on in every aspect of life. It's going to go on in war. It's going to go on in politics. It's going to go on in religion. The dark entities or the shadow people or the things that we're talking about that I run into in my paranormal work, you have to combat that. You can't just allow it to almost make like you're phased, or that you succumb to it, or that you show fear. It's not going to work out well. So I go into prayer, whatever way you want to play. By the way, happy Rosh Hashanah, everyone. Phenomenal New Year, right, Kev?
Absolutely.
Rosh Hashanah here.
Well, explain what that is. Tell us more about that. Come on, enlighten us, Tia.
I'm not Jewish, but I respect all religions. And that's what I want to tell everyone. I respect all religion, and everyone and anyone, and we have every religion possible to mankind that comes in here. And it's all to be respected, and everyone should be able to be free and practice and do and live and worship what they want. Now, if you decide that worshiping something on a dark lord or something dark, that's your thing. I'd rather you not be around me. I'd rather you not be in my shop. I really don't want it. But that, again, is your life.
You see, this is why I'm glad. I'm really so grateful that you come on to the show once, now twice, to share your opinions, because I'm all about including everyone. I don't want to build barriers between people that believe one thing or another. And it doesn't matter what book we follow. It doesn't matter what we personally believe. This afterlife, this spirit world, the stuff that we're talking about here is very, very real. And it matters not on your personal take on it. And the most important thing is that it's very, very real. There's various ways to get to a good place after we die. And I was always brought up thinking, people are entitled to their own opinions, their own beliefs, Tia. And we shouldn't criticize others for that. And as far as I'm seeing, you're not calling for or causing violence on anyone or anything. And if you don't cross that boundary in the Kev Baker book of morals and life, then have at it. Who am I to criticize anyone?
Amen. Here's to you. Here's cheers, babe.
See, there you go. I told you we would have fun tonight, Tia. I'm feeling this magic. I must have a glow around me. You must be working it well. That's all I can say.
Here, you're going to highlight, babe.
So any messages for me tonight or any interesting psychic readings lately? Or have you got any kind of stuff set up there we can get into? I know you do the cards and things as well.
Yeah, we've had so many interesting readings that have been coming in. And I mean, by the time I leave, Kev, I'm exhausted. My energy just goes down.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot. I've had a woman bring in her sick child. I've had people that were unsettled, as usual, unsettled in their life and needed to talk to their relatives. So it's been very crazy with that. It's just, a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Working a lot in the city at A&E. So we have some things. Hopefully, what I'll do is when things get solidified, I will touch base with you, and then you'll be my first announcement, Kev. How's that?
Oh, Tia, now you've just absolutely made my day. And if they're looking for a short Scottish kind of prop or an extra in the background, because every show needs a little Scottish guy in it, then you know where to call, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now what would...
I need to get to Scotland.
You do? Now what's happening there? I'm seeing flames and things happening.
Yeah, flames are coming, so I'll give you a little peek in. So this is my cauldron. Can you see inside?
Oh, yes, there? And this is definitely a first for the Kev Baker show. I love this. This is brilliant.
So so what I'm doing right now is, I'll give you a better shot, because she's quite worn, this little girl, but it's got a lot of good magic to it. So right now what we're doing is we are cleaning it. So whenever you work between spells, Kev, you have to make sure that you clear residual energy.
Got you. Yeah. You see, this
you
is
would know all about.
Well, you see, this is the problem with Crowley's house, right? Because he's halfway through doing this magic spell, trying to open a portal. And to give you an idea, Tia, what he done at the time was he poured fine sand all the way around Belle AKA house. Now, it wasn't because he wanted to win some gardening competition. It was to track. It was to track and trace how effective and at what part of the spell he was at. Because I'm told that the reason for the sand was that he could see the footprints of the 12 individuals that he was trying to summon. So halfway through that, without getting a chance to close any portal he had opened, he got called back to France to go and work or do something for the Golden Dawn. Whatever it was, he left the area, never came back. And to this day, I maintain, and it's just my opinion, when you look at the paranormal activity in the Highlands of Scotland, it's off the charts. And when you've got somebody of that power, that kind of magician opening portals like that, and I'll ask you, could it be that it remains to this day?
Absolutely. There's no doubt. And, there was so much and he was very heavy duty into constant sacrifice. And, I mean, it was just so bizarre. It was like helter skelter there. It really was.
Yeah.
And that being said, that will remain. Even if you took, priests and went in there to try and clean it, it's not happening, Kev.
No.
It's too engrossed. It's not coming out of that. You're not cleaning that up. And that's a place that I really don't want you to go back to.
No, I'm never going back. We went back the last time, okay? We went back and we thought, and it was weird, Tia, because myself and my brother, we had swore we would never go anywhere near the place. And then I went back home and it was like we both looked at each other at the same time and we said, come on, we'll just go back to Belle AKA house. We were going out for the day anyway. We thought we'll go up, we'll have a walk around it. We did. Got that ominous feeling again. I'm like that to Kenny. We're not even going in here. We'll just walk around it and go away again. And when I was walking away, I said on the camera, I'm like, something needs to happen to this place. Whether it's angels, whether it's something, this place is bad juju, right? And within a week of that being said, and I'm not saying for 1 minute I caused this, But Boleskine House, then, the remainder of it burned to the ground. So make of that what you will, but I'll never be going back again. And
You felt it.
especially if they're going to be building the centre where they're teaching this stuff. And they actually make a point of saying how, like, young people in the area will be welcomed into sharing the delights of Aleister Crowley's work, you know?
Okay, that's even more frightening to me because our children are just such a vast little creature of learning,
Yeah.
and that's subjecting a child who's very, very young and does not have the capabilities or the awareness of what life really is, and subjecting them to that would be criminal.
Yeah, and what is it then, Tia? If you can help me with that, of course. I ask as many people as I can for their opinion, but it seems to me, and I might be wrong, but when you've got these poltergeists, when you've got problems in a house or a family, they seem to target young kids, and in particular young girls. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm...
No, you're not wrong.
So why? What do you attribute that to?
The innocence of a child. The child has not grown up enough to have like these cray people that we have that are on here that are able to say, you can't see this, you can see that. This does not exist. This is this, and this is gray, and there's black and white. And so there's the innocence and beauty of a child, which is what you look at when you see a child in Disneyland, or you see the beauty and the innocence, which is why they should kill every pedophile that's out there, because that's what's stolen from them.
Thank you.
So
and
that beauty and that innocence.
I second
that's
that, Tia.
Yeah, they can see it, Kat. They can see it because they're still enlightened. They're still there. Nothing's told them. You know, there's not. I watched a movie on Lifetime last night. The Alex, and I can't remember her last name story, but it was a girl that came out to her parents that were Mormon that she was gay, and what they did to her, and the child abuse of a 16-year-old because of who she loved was horrible. So children are beautiful, and they should just be treated where kindness, love doesn't exactly happen in this world, as I've seen as a cop. But that's why they see the ghost. They see the good, the bad. That's why.
You see, that's the thing, and sometimes I forget that about you, Tia. You really have seen the very lowest kind of levels that society will stoop to because of your previous work as a cop, you know?
Some the things that I've seen in my lifetime as an officer, and all of my friends, the human beings that walk are much more animals than the ones that are on fours.
Yeah, I sometimes use the comment, you know, the real monsters, they're the ones that are all around us. Don't be worrying too much about the ones that we don't see. It's the ones that we can see that worries me more, you know?
Well, when I was first, like, you know, probably, I guess, like 9 years old, and I was saying, like, you know, I'm afraid, like they're coming in at night, and like I'm afraid. And the lady looked at me, because they always used to just be so poignant and down with it, and just say, honey, worry about the living. They're the ones that can hurt you.
Well, there is something to that for sure. So, Tia, we've got about 7 minutes left. Where do you want to go for the remainder of this amazing show? And I've seen in the chat room, there's people absolutely love Tia 2.0. They definitely, the hardcore KBS fans, and they know the way I roll. They know that the show is set up to give people a platform, and I never ambush anyone, Tia. I would never bring somebody onto the show to criticize the way their information, anything like that. And I just wish, you know, some small portion of the audience, the haters out there, could appreciate that. And, you know, take a leaf out of our book and try and include everyone and be respectful of everyone. Because listening to you again tonight, I don't see where the problem comes. You're doing something positive.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of people that drink the Kool-Aid out there, and they're usually the ones that are problematic. So you know, I'm very, very grounded. I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very loving. I enjoy this world that I live in. I love everyone to share in it. And, you know, if it's not for you, kudos and respect.
Exactly.
I mean, to each his own. We all have to respect that in life.
Exactly, and if everyone could do that, I think a lot of our problems would vanish immediately. I truly, truly do believe that. Now, Tia, because we're coming up to the end of the show now, obviously, I wish you all the best with your
Thank you,
trying to get a
guys.
show on there, and hopefully, I'm being selfish as well because that means you'll be coming back again to announce it here on the
Can't wait.
carpet. You see, there you go. And if there's anything you want the listeners to take away with them tonight, because you are a bundle of positivity, here's your chance. You tell them something. You give them something to take away.
Okay, listen, guys, from this witch, please listen to me. It is my favorite holiday out of the year. We all know why. So, with this Halloween gal, I'm going to tell you this: no Ouija boards. Do not play with the Ouija board. Bob for apples, run around and decorate, go to great parties. But please do me a favor. You're not capable of dealing with what you're going to open up. Which we're talking about portals tonight. So please be safe. And from this witch to you, blessed be.
Awesome. And of course, recently there was full moons. And I caught one of your videos where you were saying there's like 3 days before a full moon and 3 days after. Talk to us a little bit about the moon before we go, because I talk about the science of the moon and things, but I never get into the energetics of the moon.
That's all going to be part of my training. Is you have certain spells that are criteria during certain periods of the moon. We work that alchemy is very, very big. Also, we transition with moon phases. Very, very important. So I work my magic. You have 3 days prior to full moon and you have 3 days after full moon in order for you to work with it. And then we all know the crisis of like Mercury in retrograde. So we'll never do a spell during Mercury in retrograde. That's just asking for trouble. The whole world's like this. Actually, it's like this.
Well, actually,
So,
Tia,
that's a problem.
I had no idea what Mercury retrograde was, right? And myself and another host on the network, we were laughing about it one night because we seen everybody on Facebook for weeks before it talking about this thing. And we were like, what is everyone getting their pants in a twist for anyway? And then the next day, my computer broke down, Joe's computer broke down. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong for us. And never again will I joke and laugh about Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, Mercury retrograde. It's just things get sticky and just So that's a time period. So those are all things that we work with, encompassing with the moon. I mean, I've already done work where I'm in the ocean and I'm grabbing things out of the ocean. Remember, we are goddesses and we are working from the earth. Everything that we do is from the earth. I work with dirt. I work with things that come out of the river. I work with everything. That was the mind-boggling thing about this big, huge, massive hawk hanging out at my house today, because I will literally get a gift that comes into me. Snakes, so be it. But it's a gift given to me from Mother Nature to say, here you go.
Yeah, because you were sharing with me before we came on air that this was something that had happened today, right? That this magical looking hawk just turned up in the garden.
I have a balcony off from my kitchen, and he was sitting on the balcony railing. He was enormous, Cav. I don't mean this is a little baby bird. This thing is enormous. And then I started to throw food downstairs at it, and it began to chill out and eat. And I went and sat on the stairs next to where he was eating. He was just so calm, mellow. He kept looking at me. My boyfriend's like, he keeps staring at you. And it was a really beautiful day to see this gorgeous creature come visit. And these are all things that we work in with our balance in life, people. I'm walking on the earth, so I need to be living in it. Take the blinders off.
Oh, take the blinders off for sure. Absolutely. Take the blinders off, open your minds. And as I always say to people, not to the point, though, that you let your brain fall out, because some people have done these days. But Tia, this has been brilliant again. It's been everything I thought it would be. And Tia 2.0, I like the feisty side. I like the ghetto girl kind of attitude. Definitely a winner. Definitely.
Thanks. I think for the people on Facebook that come into my shop and know me, they all know that side exists.
Well, to everyone out there on your Facebook page, I tell you, you're following one wonderful lady here. This is not once, but twice now. I've had a really good time with you, Tia. And I really hope you don't get too big and too famous for the show. You know, you remember us mere mortals here on radio, and you'll come back again, okay?
Listen, I can't wait. One day I'll be on that show with you because I need to see Scotland. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, absolutely. And think of the rumours will start if we end up doing a tour of Scotland.
There you go.
There you go. So, Tia, the website for you is, I believe, thecraftbytia.com. Go and check that out, folks. If you have just not had enough of Tia today, she's all over YouTube. Check her out on Facebook as well. She does her own little streams on there. You're going to be trying to branch out into YouTube soon, I hope, Tia, yes?
Yeah, more so. Yeah, I have to do that. So,
excellent.
Yes.
So, folks, I'll be back after the break. We'll be discussing what's happened here. We'll get a laugh at the fallout from the Holy War Part 1 when Tia was on. But Tia, thank you so much, my dear.
Kev, thank you.
There we go, Tia. We're away from the network now, so you can say farewell to the YouTube audience as well, and then I'll let you go and I will get back to work here. See, that wasn't like work. That was just a chilled conversation. I love it. And, you know, for anyone that does get triggered by it, who cares? That's more on them than it is on us.
Well, I think that's what we needed to address tonight is what the closed-minded, the Bible thumping, all of that, which took place the last time. And, you know, acting like they needed to save me from something was so funny.
Yes, you look like you need saving. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
So, Tia,
I need to be saved.
I'll let you get back to it, and we'll stay in touch. And remember now, you've said it, you've put it out there. You'll be on here first to tell us, right?
You got it, Kev.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Tia Belle. I love her. I hope you love her too. And we'll have Tia back sometime real soon. Thank you, Tia.
Bye, honey.
There we go, folks. There we go. We're back. It's just me now. You're stuck with me. Is it okay if I hang out with you until, you know, for the remainder of the show here on YouTube? Or would you like me to switch off the stream? Have I triggered too many people out there? So Brett's asking for a cone for the new emoji. You're not the first person to ask for that today. How did it go, Kristen? How was the chat? Not too bad, I hope. I didn't want to look. Germanus, I know Tia only had an hour, but we'll be able to talk about it on the other side. And yeah, last time I had Tia on, it's like I say, I wasn't just saying that for effect. It really was one of the strangest responses to a show that I've ever had. Ever. And I get why, but at the same time, we often talk about free will and we talk about respecting others' beliefs and ideas. And that was one show where really that didn't come to the fore at all. And I am not saying that to anyone, any of the people out there who are in the YouTube chat. I don't know who these people were. They weren't regulars to the Kev Baker show, some of them. So, yeah. And I want to thank Kristen and the other mods in the chat room for really keeping on their toes there. And Jason, I love you, brother. Okay? Jason, just know that. I love you. I've seen a couple of the things you've seen. And it will, Tinker, Jason, everyone else, don't worry. We'll be back here. We're going to be doing hour number 2. I've got a lot of other stuff we can get into, but I think we should start by touching upon what just went before there with Tia. I think that would be a good topic to get into. What do you think, folks? You think so? I think so. Yeah. So Kenny, yeah, they were not indeed regulars, you see. I don't know. I've always wanted to learn about other topics I'm not familiar with, and the best way to do that is to go to people that are experts on that topic. It's a no-brainer that. I get that. It's like perfect sense, right? But I just don't understand why the controversy. I don't. Nice candles as well. I love the candles. That was a really good touch. So yeah, Lisa, we've got Marty in there, John, Tessa, Sign of the Times, the Rockman, all the way from down under. I remember today, Ken. See, I remembered, brother. I remembered. Yep. Lone Ranger's horse trigger. SJW horse. Lovely. Brilliant. So we're getting ready to go back to the mothership, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just pull up my Skype here in preparation for that. Here we go. Have a look. And tomorrow night on the show, I'm going to be joined by Ellie Marzulli is going to be on the show here tomorrow with us. So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm just watching the clock here, folks, in case you think I'm distracted and not looking at you all. Are you ready? Here we go back to the mothership. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 on today's Kev Baker show. And I have been bewitched. Man, oh man, boy, oh boy, girl, oh girl. Whatever you are, wasn't that good? And I can imagine there's probably people spitting feathers right now. They're probably wanting to tear my eyes out, wanting to tear Tia's eyes out. And when I introduced Tia today, I wasn't joking. You know, nearly 1,200 shows. And it really is one of the strangest reactions I've seen to any guest, any information. And I've covered some topics, folks. I truly, truly have. And that's why it made myself and Tia determined to come back again. And I want you just to drop all of your own personal beliefs right now and just think about what you heard there from Tia. Close your eyes if you have to. Where was anything negative in that? Messages not to use Ouija boards, the kind of things that we hear all the time. Not the kind of thing you would expect from some evil, wicked witch, right? Talking about the positive side of things, helping people find happiness. None of it, you know, to do with hurting anyone, anything. Nothing like that. We need to be really respectful of others' opinions, folks. We really do. That's how we'll grow. And I don't think we're going to grow spiritually or improve on our knowledge base if we can't listen to other information that may go totally contrary to what we have thought in the past. Ideas that we have already preconceived, thanks to the programming that's out there, that all things witchy must be dark and evil. And remember, back in the day, I bring on Don Wiskin, right? I bring on Don to talk about Extendovite. And he talks about these 7 natural herbs, as we say in the UK, or herbs, as Don says in Canada. And you know, there would have been a time, hundreds of years ago, when putting those 7 herbs together, and despite the fact that it helps people, that Don himself would have been called a witch or a warlock. Because of the mindset hundreds of years ago, people mistook this kind of thing for evil witchcraft. Yet don't we always talk about the natural energies on the planet? How the planet provides probably everything we need, everything we will need. Everything out there has its own purpose, be it plant, be it wildlife, anything else. And yet, when somebody comes on talking about being able to harness and manipulate and use those same energies, those same subtle forces that are all around us for the good of people, I just don't know how that had such an adverse effect on people the last time. And I've seen it today as well, you know, on the YouTube chat. A lot of new faces, funnily enough. Not people that know how the show works. Not people that realise I like to give platforms to people that challenge commonly held beliefs and things like that. But I don't get it, folks. I just don't. There's one rule. There's really just one rule, you know, when you listen to the Kev Baker show, and that is to keep an open mind. And I hate even to call it a rule. It should be a no-brainer. Although keeping your mind open can lead to a no-brainer, as in brain falling out. You know, I always talk about that. But yeah, interesting about Crowley's gaff as well, and the shadow people coming back up. And yeah, I seen Tia's reaction when I was sharing about shadow people before the show and during the show, and I don't know what it is about KBS right now, and I blame Ange, Joe's wife, for sending us down this road, but this shadow entity, these shadow things, they're becoming quite prevalent, right? And I just hope that doesn't start relating out into the real world, as in the listeners out there. But if you do have your own stories to share, that's okay, because very soon I'm going to be opening up the phones. Not today on the show. I might do, actually. I'll see. Maybe I'll open up the phones. Because I've got a lot of listeners, a lot of people listen to the show from various parts of the world who all have all of the kind of stories that we normally talk about on here. And with, TFR and KBS having that same mindset of real people, real radio, then who better to go to the audience themselves to share some of these things? In fact, I think I might do that in the final segment of today's show. I might just open up the phones for people to call in. I know there's people out there who do have stories to share. Hopefully they'll take advantage of this time. And pretty cool. Pretty cool. I hope you all enjoyed Tia 2.0. I enjoyed Tia thoroughly the first time, even more so this time. Absolutely. So, and our candles. If anyone wants to check out more on the candles, you can go over to Tia. She works with them on Periscope. I've seen videos on there with the candles, cool candles. And when you think of some of the dodgier stuff, myself and Joe and the guys get into, Scotty, in particular, over there on the weekend streams, very, very apt. Very apt indeed. And I think myself and Tia get on pretty well. I think we're going to do a good few more shows in the future. And now that Tia's had her hour of being naughty Tia and having her say back against the haters from last time. And listen, folks, if you disagree with Tia, that's okay. I'm not saying you have to agree with her. Maybe I haven't emphasized that enough. Maybe you just do not agree with it. That's okay. But all I ask then is you be respectful, as I am respectful of you for not agreeing. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I try to practice what I preach, folks. I know it's a rare thing, and I try to be as real as I can. And I think people on the Discord, I've probably, for anyone listening who doesn't know what I'm talking about, we've got a Discord server where anyone can come along, and any fan of the show, anyone that listens, they can chill out. And I sometimes worry though, because maybe there's this kind of preconceived idea that people have that, I get it. I used to think of people like Joe Joseph and Chris and Cherie Geo and Popeye and everyone. I used to think, wow, these are like famous people to me, that how can you talk to these people? You listen to them, it's going to be, they must be so professional, and they're maybe going to think I'm silly, some of the things I come out with. Have I not always told you I am exactly the way I am on air and off air? And I think people in the Discord server, they get that now. They appreciate that. I am as real as I can be, folks. Doesn't mean I'll always get it right. Absolutely not. And if I ever tell you that I've definitely got it right, remind me. Put me back in my place, okay? Please do. I don't only ask that, I insist it. So let me see what's happening over on TFR, what's happening in the chat room over there. We've got Lynn in there, we've got Ken, and thank you, Ken. And that's what I ask everyone to do, if you can. Because TFR is always and will always be the home of the Kev Baker Show. And they were the people, Chris and Cherie, who gave me a chance in the first place. The fact that I can simulcast here, I love doing that. But I also want to make sure that everyone out there knows, first and foremost, the home of KBS is TFR. And if you can have 2 chat rooms running, see? And you get double the fun. So, Ken, thank you for that. We've got Kenny in there as well. Kenny, loving having you in the server, man. You see, Kenny, you'll appreciate, because I know you're somebody that messaged me on Facebook in the past. I'm atrocious at Facebook, dude. But when it comes to the Discord now, I can just jump in there. I know everyone's having a blast. I get so many links from there now. It's like I'm cheating. It really is. So if we scroll down further, we've got Polly in there. We've got Silimo, Lawrence, Matthias. I like that name. We've got Time Lord and Excited Chatter, I think that says. And of course, we come over here. We've got too many to mention over here on YouTube as well. But yeah, great stuff, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show or the hour with Tia. I really do. I hope, even if you disagreed with every single thing me and Tia had to say, I hope you stuck it out. I hope you managed to display that be that bigger person. Be the one that can listen to ideas, information that definitely challenge your mindset, but are open enough to agree to disagree, yet still hang around for the rest of the stuff that we're going to get into today. And like I say, we'll open up the show. We'll open up the phones. Sorry, the show's already well open. We're an hour and 10 minutes into it. So we'll open up the phones in the final segment for all of you. Well, not all of you. I can't get all of you in. That'd be thousands of people calling at once, right, when you combine the 2 audiences. So I can't have all of you calling in, but hopefully we'll get some of you calling in. and you can share with me your paranormal stories. If you're coming on to bash Tia, don't bother. You know, I have never let any of my guests, be ambushed like that. Again, like I say, if you disagree, that's cool, but just be respectful and keep it to yourself. And no, that's not me stifling anyone's free speech. It's not, because everyone got a fair crack at criticising in both the comment section on Facebook the last time, and I'm sure the comment section of the last video we done, and this one too. So please don't think that. That's not how I roll. But yeah, very interesting. I was even reaching out to my brother today. I'll see if he's messaged me back. I was saying, hey, Kenny, you know what you need to do is get yourself Skype. And then what we can do one day soon is we'll get Kenny, my brother, on. And I know, I'm going to lose all of my female fans out there when you see my kid brother. Dang, it's a good-looking guy, right? But watch yourself. He's worse than me. That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to get Kenny on, hopefully. We've had my mum on before, so it'd be good to get my brother on. And yeah, and I'm smiling, I'm laughing, and I'm not laughing at what Kenny has been telling my mum and what I've found out about what's going on with them. Don't think that. But it'd be even better to get it from him firsthand. Strange times with the old shadow people, eh? But if we go to the history of mediumship, like I was talking about a few hundred years ago, because of people misunderstanding things and being brainwashed and, being highly influenced by the Catholic Church in particular, people like Tia, they would have been burnt at the stake. But mediums, psychics, people that take advantage of white magic, what's the history of all of this? So it says here, and this is from a website called theothersidetv.ca. And listen, I haven't read it yet, but I was just looking for an article, a quick one about the history of spiritual mediums. So this came up. It might be good. It might be bunk. I honestly don't know. And Roxy says, I'd like to see your mum. We'll need to get her back on the show. Do you know what it is? She's scared because she thinks that, she hasn't got any, news stories to tell people. And she feels this need to come on and have new information to tell you all. But that's not how the paranormal works. If you're just your average Joe blogs out there, you don't have multiple episodes or paranormal things happening with month to month that you can build up a repertoire of information. And I think her just coming on and sharing some of her old stories, getting into some of the stuff that I come across, I think that could make for some good radio. Yes, Norman and Norma Bates. We'll go full psycho. We'll get my brother in too. We'll make it a family affair, right? Right? So it says here, I'll just blow this up a bit so I can see it. Through history, humanity has been fascinated not only with the human experience and wonders of life and the natural world, but also with death. A simple question, what happens when we die? It's a very simple question, but whether somebody can answer that effectively or not, I don't know. I get people have had near-death experiences, but we've never had somebody literally been dead for a few years and then coming back and telling us all about it, right? Right? Or maybe we have. I just haven't interviewed the right people yet. It says, for centuries, religion and science have weighed in, each giving a unique perspective for a moment. Let me speak personally and from my own experience. What happens when we die? Some spark, some essence of who we were while we lived and loved and moved among the living continues on. I definitely believe that. Call it the soul, call it energy, call it light. It's all the same thing. It's all different names for it. The experiences I've had and the evidence I've captured, the exploration I've done, has given me no other option than to believe this. Let me be clear. I'm standing today on the fringe of both the scientific and the religious worlds. Not asking you to believe what I believe, simply asking you to explore with me the history of communicating with the spirit world and the idea that this is possible. The idea that death is not the end. And isn't this quite synchronistic? What I talk about, I ask you never to believe me. I just ask you to explore topics. Keep an open mind while we do it. I'm liking this article already. Okay, so it says at the core of this idea stands the person charged with making contact. Kenny's messaging me now. You see, I can see it. He's listening in. He's hooked. Who wouldn't be hooked on the Kev Baker show, right? Before I get back into this, I'll tell you a little funny story. Kenny was mortified, but he went on holiday one time with his friends, okay? You can imagine it, early 20s, lad about the town, really cool, thinking he's the man. And he says he'll definitely come on the show sometime soon. Brilliant. That's brilliant. But this is quite funny, right? Because I think it was Tenerife, doesn't matter where it was, but he's over there and he gets talking to some other people that are on holiday. And, him being my brother, the topic of woo starts coming up. And Kenny, sitting there, and one of the people he was talking to turns around and says, "Oh, if you're into this stuff, you really need to check out my favourite show." He's like, "I think he might even be from Scotland. His name's Kev Baker." And my brother's sitting there going, "Oh, no." And he told him, "Yeah, that's my brother." And the dude didn't believe him. Not for 1 minute did he believe him. So Kenny had to go and show him. And yeah, I dare say Kenny was thinking, "Oh, Kev, I hate you right now. Absolutely hate you." And I can imagine the person he was talking to would have been on cloud nine. And it's the same as my son. He absolutely hates that I do this, or at least he hates when other people find out about it, because usually that begins the conversation, and he takes stick off his pals because of what I do. They think in fact, I think they think I live in a tinfoil hut. That's what his friends think. They think I am absolutely Mel Gibson conspiracy theory kind of levels. Not quite, folks. You see, I don't have tinfoil curtains yet, all right? So I'm having too much fun here tonight. I'm going from one topic to the other. It's great. And to have my brother involved here, that makes it all the more special for me. It truly, truly does, right? So it says here, "I want to give you a peek at some of the history behind mediumship. Speak to you from the heart, sharing my own experiences and knowledge that I've gained, so you too can communicate with people on the other side, should you choose. The earliest record we have for mediumship comes to us from a cave in France known as the Cavern des Trois Frères in Ariège, France. I got the first bit pretty cool. I sounded French, right? Pierre. Just call me Pierre. The cave holds a drawing done in 1300 BC, known as the Sorcerer. It is a depiction of a man dressed in the skins of a stag, wearing the mask and antlers of the animal. Something very kind of pagan and druidy sounding about that, isn't there? And that's not me to knock it. That's me just saying what it sounds like. The man is thought to be playing the role of god of the hunting, leading the ritual designed to bring success to the hunt that would follow. Now, as part of his role, the man dressed as the stag would certainly have spoken as the deity, directing the hunters in their own pantomimed action. Now, whether realised or not, he was channeling the deity, actually allowing the hunting god to speak through him. Ancient Greek oracles would go into trances and speak with changed voice and personality, channeling spirits. And in the 16th century, a group known as the Tremblers of Kevens would go into trance, speaking in tongues, communicating with spirits, and reportedly cure sickness. Like that, known as the Tremblers. That'd be a right good name for a band, wouldn't it? Even the Bible was touched by mediumship. The Woman of Endor is a depiction of a spiritualist medium, producing the exact same phenomena that mediums have been regularly producing in seance rooms for the last 150 years. The modern spiritualist movement was born on a small American homestead belonging to the Fox family. They began to be plagued by inexplicable noises, rasps, ghostly voices. And it was Friday, March the 31st, that would see these prior manifestations grow in intensity. The family had just retired to bed and the noises started again. It was at this point that 3 young girls, the Fox sisters, began communicating with an entity that they referred to as Mr. Splitfoot. I had no idea about any of this. This is all new to me. It says here they would communicate using a series of raps. Got to have the sound effects. not unlike the raps and knocks we ask for when working in the field. Now, family infighting between the sisters later led one of the sisters to recant any claims that had been made. Now, claiming that the noises produced in response to questions were simply created by the sisters themselves, and sadly, the sisters died within 3 years of one another. That's pretty weird. The final word on the validity of their claims comes from a medical doctor with no ties to spiritual movement or mediumship. The doctor attended to Margetta, the last of the Fox sisters to pass, and the doctor stated that Margetta lay dying in a bed, unable to move her hands or feet, and the rasps still came. Knocking emitting from the floor, walls, and ceiling in responses to Margetta's faint questions. Now, after the Fox sisters, the rise of spiritualism continued. People were eager to explore the supernatural. Many were eager to get in contact with relatives who'd passed, and certainly, as is true today, many sought to take advantage of grief and vulnerability. Scores of people claiming to be able to communicate with the dead were debunked as frauds throughout history, painting the practice with an ever darker brush, and that's by somebody called Jeff Richards. Very interesting read there, and that's from a website called theotherside.tv.ca. So it's obviously some TV show there, The Other Side. Take a look. I've never heard of that one. Sounds like something I would like. Canadian ghost hunters with an indigenous twist. So this is who The Other Side is, folks. I'm going to be checking this out. It says opening the door to the spirit world can have unexpected results. That's why The Other Side's team approaches every paranormal investigation with a healthy dose of respect. Intuitive Jeff Richards. You know what? Will I try and get Jeff Richards on the show? Why not? Why not? I'll write it down right now. So yeah, intuitive Jeff Richards. There we go. Paranormal investigator Michaela Shannon and elder and spirit guide Tom Charles know that whatever they find when they open the front door or open that door, they won't escape unchanged, and neither will the viewers. Isn't that interesting? After just talking about whether or not we had something attached to us after we went to a paranormal location. Says The Other Side is a half-hour television documentary series that follows a team of paranormal investigators in their pursuit to make contact with Canada's most unsettled spirits. And for Season 5, The Other Side team explores some of the scariest ghost stories in the Canadian maritime provinces of New Brunswick. Now, PEI. I apologise to any of our Canadian friends out there. I apologise. I have no idea what PEI means. Nova Scotia, I've been there. Newfoundland and Labrador. So it says our ghost hunting team connects people with the spirits they sense around them. They transmit messages and uncover stories that are sometimes frightening, but often poignant. Whatever they discover, their mission is to find a resolution with the wisdom of indigenous traditions at its heart, helping the living and the dead along on their journeys. Yeah, Season 4, Season 5. I'm definitely going to be checking that out, folks. Very interesting, but we're almost on the break. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. When we come back on the other side, I'm going to open up the phone lines. And if you would like to talk to me about paranormal activity and all things that make you go, woo, all you have to do, the rhymes are continuing, is dial up on the following numbers. You ready for Kev to make a mess of the numbers? I hate numbers. So all you got to do is, if you're in the US, phone the following number. And that is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And if you're in the UK, you can still phone the show. Probably cost you a bit more. But it's 0044 203 393 2871. And one last time, 0044 203 393 2871. I'm going to drop that in the TFR chat room right now. I'm going to drop that on YouTube straight after that. And then, folks, we're going to go to the break and we are going to get so into this. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Why? Because if I'm right, we're going to have real people, real radio, and we're going to take this paranormal woo to levels that maybe we have not dived to before. That's my hope anyway, right? So we're coming up on the break. Go and grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, drink of water, get yourself a herbal companion if that's your poison. Whatever it is, we're going to be back in 3 short minutes, folks. And boy, oh boy, I hope we get some really spooky calls coming in. If we get no calls coming in, that's okay. You know me. You know how I roll. I've got like the research team over on Discord now. There's so many stories for us to get into, folks. I've got stories about Amazon tracking us. All sorts of things. Don't worry about it. We'll be right back. And we're still here, folks. I am still here on YouTube. Give me 30 seconds or so. I need to go make a quick cup of coffee. I'm going to put some tunes on. I'll put the promo back up. And I'll be back before we go live again, okay? So I'm going to drop that number in here right now. There you go. And I'll be back in 2 short minutes. There we go, folks. I'm back. Ah, yes, indeed. Grabbed a coffee. We're raring to go. Boy's Xbox is on the fritz. You can imagine the grief that's causing. Oh, dear me. Ah, the joys, folks. The joys. So I hope we get some phone calls coming up in the next segment of the show. That could take things to the next level. But if not, I'll come into the chat room. Tag me. I want to see your comments. ZX81 says, coast to coast, we're coming for you. I wish, dude, I wish. You know, coast to coast, man, what a benchmark, eh? If we could even get 10% of their success one day, I'd be very, very, very happy. Yes, so I need to send a link to somebody. 2 seconds. Why do people do this when I'm on air? Copy that. Yes, I speak to myself, folks. There we go. Send this one out. Right, there we go. I'm checking the clock now. Just make sure before we go back to the network. Yes, indeed. So where are we now? Where is the... There I am. I found myself. I was missing there for a moment. Let me get back here. Let me get ready to reconnect to the studio. There we go. We are back. We are live now. I'm just about to connect the phones over here so that you great people out there listening today, you can phone in with your say. So give me 2 seconds. We hear the groovy number's been pressed. Yes, indeed. There we go. So then, if you want to call into today's show, if you want to be a part of the Kev Baker experience, then all you have to do is get busy on the following numbers. And that is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And if you're in the UK, it's 0044 203 393 2871. And that is 0044 203 393 2871. So maybe you're a witch. Maybe you're like Tia. Maybe you want to call in and talk about that kind of stuff. Maybe you've had your own experience with the shadow person. Maybe you've just got some other kind of paranormal story that you would like to share. Well, I think you should share that right here with me and the people listening around the world right now. And somebody in the chat room was talking about coast to coast. Here we come. We're coming after you. No, I wish. I really do wish. And, if one day we get half as big as coast to coast, boy, oh boy, oh boy, will all my radio ambitions be met? Absolutely. So then, Tia Belle was my guest in the first hour of the show today. If you're just tuning in late, where have you been? Oh, what a show you have missed. We had Tia 2.0. If you don't know what that means, well, the last time Tia came on, she played nice. This time, we had the full naughty witch, and she addressed some of the trolls, some of the haters out there. And wow, did we get the ghetto girl today? Dang, that was really, really good. So while I'm waiting for these phones to ring off the hook, because I know you're going to ring me off the hook, right? Don't let me down. Let me go into the TFR chat room to see what people are saying in there. So let me scroll up, see what's happening. Somebody says, why be told that the Monday show will be with Tia and then turn up and moan and insult people? Just sad. Plus, they don't know she has powers. You see, that's a good thing, right? Thank you for saying that, Lynn. Tia's a nice person, right? But you should be careful who you go after and who you troll on the internet. Because if there's anyone that's going to be able to cast spells on you, I'm just saying, think about it, folks. Thank you, Lynn. Let's see what else people are saying in there. So many comments. Now, I'll jump over to the other chat room on YouTube in a moment as well. We're waiting for the phones to ring off the hook here, folks. Come on. Don't be shy. I don't bite. I really don't. But if you want to call up, not but if you want to call up, if you want to call up, dial me. Come on. Jump on in here. It's 213-233-3998. And I don't want any Navy intel insiders or people calling me from some underground bunker or something like that. You know that ain't going to fly with me, folks. You know it won't. Number again is 213-233-3998. And if you're in the UK, it's 0044 203 393 2871. That's 0044 203 393 2871. So hopefully we'll get somebody calling up. That would be pretty good. And today on the daytime stream, the safe space, I really, really hope all of you can start coming along to the safe spaces. But I was sharing the story that my mother had kind of relayed to me last night, and really, really kind of personal aspect to this, because we've been talking a lot about the shadow people lately, and I brought this up with Tia as well. And I didn't really manage to get too in-depth in my brother's story at the time. I did talk about it in greater detail on the stream today, but for people who didn't hear that, I'm just going to kind of tell you what's been happening in the background. And you all know my brother was with me when we went to BEWITCHED not once and twice. But we've been talking about this shadow dude in recent times. shadow dude's the name that the person gives to this ghost, this shadow entity that he's got in his property in Carmel, Maine. And this is, by my standards, I'm only talking personally here, I struggle to debunk the video, but that still doesn't mean that everything's real, okay? I think it is, and it's just my opinion, that the entity that we've been talking about on there, it's so solid. It's one of the more solid, manifested, it's in our reality, if you get me. You might not have seen the streams we've done about that, but this thing's like in the room, okay? You see it. There's no mistaking that there's something there. And usually, and my own experience with the shadow dude is, and I've heard about the corner of the eye, you maybe see it and then it's gone again. But because we've been talking about that on the show recently, and Kenny only just really appreciated that I too have had my own shadow entity experience, he basically broke down and started, like, because of adrenaline and because of fear, basically, crying when he was telling my mum about what's been happening to him. And not once, but twice now, he's had things in his house. And he'd already said to me and my mum that the house is a bit weird. You know, there's noises and things. And we'll come back to that because we have got a caller on the line. Area code 21. Let me see now. Where is it? Yeah. 253, sorry. You're on the Kev Baker show. Talk to me. What's your name?
Property, Carmel, Maine.
Kevin,
Hey.
is that you?
It is, sir. It is. Who am I talking to?
Yes, sir. My name is Glenn, and I am out of Black Diamond, Washington.
Well, Glenn, welcome to the show, and thank you for phoning in, sir. So have you been affected by the paranormal? What have you got for us today, Glenn?
Well, I've kind of wondered all the way back to the election on why John Kerry was summoned to the South Pole to be told that Hillary Clinton was not going to win the election.
Wasn't that really weird how John Kerry and all of these important people ended up going down to the South Pole? We've seen the story with Buzz Aldrin. He infamously got taken out of there. They said he took sick. We had the head of the Russian Orthodox Church going down there. I've been told, although I haven't confirmed it anywhere myself, that we had Vatican officials going down to the South Pole. Now, I have no idea, Glenn, what was going on down there, but when you see somebody like John Kerry, or old rubbery face, as I call him, skull and bones man himself, you know, he looks more skin and bones than skull and bones. But when you see somebody taking time out from a presidential campaign, like you said there, and again, I like the word you used, almost summoned to come down to the South Pole, the most remote part of the planet possible that anyone could go to. It does make you wonder what exactly was going on there. And I've talked about maybe they had discovered something, maybe the ice melting, it's uncovered some ancient ruins, stuff like that. Perhaps alien technology. But what's your take on, what's your gut feeling, Glenn, as to what was going on down there?
My gut feeling, I'm going to take you on a journey.
Nice, I like that.
I was born in 1947. In 1947, we also had the Area 51 crash out there in our Area 51, okay?
Yep.
And they had talked about taking parts off of that flying saucer to find out what it's made out of.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I've got enough common sense to realize that there were aliens in that spacecraft. They also took a DNA from those aliens. Now, back in 1947, I'm 73, and my grandfather, his brother, was the first American doctor at Little America at the South Pole. When I got back from Vietnam, my parents took me down to the museum in Mercer, Pennsylvania, and they showed me my great uncle's ledgers from being a doctor at the South Pole. Now, if everybody is aware of Count Dracula, Frankenstein, if those guys would have had a computer, that'd have been different. Now, you can take an egg from that ant that is right there in that anthill. You can take a mosquito larvae that is swimming up in that container of water you have in the backyard. Now you mix the DNA from that mosquito to that ant. Today's technology can do that.
Yep.
Now, when that egg is now produced, or before that egg is really hatched, they take that egg and put it inside of a dragonfly. So therefore, when this egg really hatches, that has been mixed with a mosquito and an ant, and this dragonfly hatches that egg, you're going to have a terrible ant.
Yeah, you get into this whole kind of chimera, the hybrid program, Glenn, absolutely.
Now, ants is an ant. Well, that's 25% of the population of insects on Earth are ants. Okay?
Okay.
Now, wow. Okay. The Pope from Rome, the Pope from Germany, world leaders have been summoned to the South Pole. What or who has the power to summon these world leaders to the South Pole? Remember that when God cast Satan out of heaven, he landed on Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is 33-degree latitude, 33-degree longitude. Therefore, you have the 33rd degree Illuminati.
Yeah, that's very relevant in in the Masonic kind of movement as well. That number 33. That's a very powerful symbolic number indeed, Frank. Sorry, Glenn.
That's all right. Now, you also have 33 vertebrae in your back.
Yep.
Okay. Out of this 33, stay on track. Boy, it's hard to stay on track with everything I know.
That's okay. That's okay. You just take your time, Glenn. Take your time. That's okay.
Okay, in 1933, there were flying saucers coming out of the South Pole.
And Operation High Jump, Admiral Byrd, he's kind of famous for saying that there was craft that could fly pole to pole, and we have nothing like it, nothing that compete with this. So, yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I've had Richard Allen Miller on the show as well. And much like your grandfather there, he's somebody that during his time working with intelligence agencies and special forces, he's been down at the South Pole. He talks about the bases that were left over there from the bad guys in World War II. So you think, from listening to what you're saying here, Glenn, are you thinking that maybe this is something more demonic and satanic in nature that has the power to call on world leaders and such important people to go down there?
It is very much so, because when God cast Satan onto Mount Hermon, he also told him he would be eating dirt for eternity. Therefore, when Adam and Eve were in the garden, Eve did have twins, Cain and Abel.
Yep.
Cain killed No. Wait a minute.
That's okay.
Wasn't it Cain that killed Abel
Yes, it was.
out there?
Yeah, I believe
What's that?
so. I believe it was Cain that killed Abel. I might be wrong though, Glenn, but I think that sounds right to me. Yeah, it was.
Okay, I think it was Cain killed Abel.
Yep.
Cain Abel. Cain Abel. Cannibal. Cannibal. Do you understand
Yep.
how I come up with cannibal?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can see how
Okay.
you get there. Yeah.
Now, therefore, Canaanites are now Canaanites. Just like the Floridians, the Mayans, the Canaanites. These are demonic entities that live beneath our feet. The entrances are, oh boy, Catholic cathedrals,
Now that would make a lot of
military
sense.
bases.
Yep.
What's that?
That would make a lot of sense because, excuse me, you see some of the evil from the Catholic Church. Not only that, but you find that both the cathedrals and military bases, they've got a habit of being built on ley lines, Glenn, energetic lines. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if these places, especially the military places, some of them, are built on energetic vortex locations.
As well as portals portals to another dimension.
Yeah.
On Mount Hermon, the United Nations has a fortress set up right there on top of Mount Hermon. Now, down here in Arizona, the Pope, I forget the name of that mountain. The Pope has a telescope set up on this mountain.
Yeah, it's Mount Graham.
This mountain is Yep. This mountain is the most religious place in the United States for the Indians because this is where they have portals to another dimension. And the Indians are well aware of this.
Yeah, the Native Americans, they talk about, they look at mountains, Glenn, like being natural stargates. You've got Mount Shasta as well. And I remember looking into this telescope. And yeah, like you say, the Native Americans, the indigenous people of that area, they're very well aware that this is a place where entities can come and go from other dimensions. And funnily enough, or not funny, is that the telescope that's up on that mountain just happens to have something called the Lucifer device attached to it. And that allows them to look into the infrared spectrum. So yeah, definitely I'm seeing your connections here, man. So we're almost going to be running out of time soon, though. I mean, what's your take? What's the overall kind of thing here? Are we in a time now where literally these entities, these fallen ones, the ones that were cast out, would you say they're coming back? And would you say that one of their places is down at the South Pole?
I've got to refer this to as SteveQuayle.com would say. Men's hearts will fail for fear of what they will see that will come up on the earth as the storms that we have going all over, the famines, the wars between nations, all of this that is spoken of in the Bible is coming to a head right now. And I think, oh man, I mean, I really need help on this. But I think that Donald Trump was brought in to be the president to usher in, the mark of the beast.
Well, you know, when you look at the presidency of that man, I mean, I don't take any political sides. I like to hate all of them, Glenn. But there's some things that people love. But one thing that I've noticed is that at no other time in my short life, and I'm only 43 years old, but no other time can I remember the American people, the United States, been so divided. And I tell you, you know, whether he has knowingly been brought in to bring us further towards that overall agenda that they want to achieve, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, it certainly doesn't seem like the agenda, this bigger picture, this thing that's rolling on in the background, the path towards the mark of the beast, if you want to call it that, it certainly doesn't seem to be getting any obstacles put in its way right now, Glenn. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, because I know for a fact that Donald Trump is a Scottish Rite Knights Templar, the same as Albert Pike, who did say this is going to be when World War I happens, this will be when World War II happens, and World War III will be between Islamism, Catholicism, Christianity, and Zionism. And as everybody is being divided right now, you can also look at the Pope, and he is bringing together the Catholics and the Muslims.
No, I can't disagree.
Can you help me with that?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know how I can help you with that, but I certainly struggle to disagree with what you're seeing and what you're putting together there, Glenn. I would love to be able to say, nah, don't worry, folks, you know, there's nothing to this, but I can't. And I appreciate what you've been kind of putting together here, and I really appreciate that you've taken the time to come and share it with us, Glenn. I wish I could be more help to you. I really do. I think that's a good kind of shout there to people. If you want to look into more of this kind of thing, you know, Steve Quayle, he's somebody that covers all of this stuff a heck of a lot better than I ever could. So I would direct people there. But, you know, Glenn, I would just say, you know, we can never get too fearful, you know, because that in itself probably helps to supercharge these entities that we're all facing up against right now, sir. But I can't thank you enough for phoning in, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. And what an interesting story. And I tell you, next time I open the phones up, please phone in again, because I would love to learn more about what you're putting together and hear more about your grandfather's time down at that base in Antarctica.
Well, now that's my grandfather's brother.
Got you. Sorry, Glenn. Sorry, my apologies.
That's all right. But my whole family is Masonic. I could have been, but when I got back off ship from Vietnam, I had 2 pounds of Thai weed in my duffel bag, and they didn't like that. So,
good man. I'm liking you more and more by the minute, Glenn. You're definitely my type of people, sir. And if you went to Vietnam, oh man, as somebody that was in the military for a heartbeat, myself here, I never went to any active zones. I can only take my hat off to you for your service, and I can't even imagine what it must have been like going over there, Glenn. Honestly, man, much respect to you, sir.
Well, I got to pray for these guys that were paratroopers and had to spend all their times in the foxholes. And yeah, the military, I mean, go shoot them guys. What do they look like? I mean, these people live in thatched houses and dirt floors, and you want us to kill them? Yeah.
It's insane.
I pray for these guys, okay?
Yeah, it's insane. So I'll let you get back to it, Glenn. Thank you so much for calling today. And like I say, brother, if I open up the phones again, don't you hesitate. Call back in, and I'd love to hear more of your information. So, Glenn, thank you so much. I'll let you go now.
All right, man. God bless you and all your listeners.
You too, Glenn. You too. Wow. You see, this is what happens when you open up the phone, you know. What a call that was. Massive thank you to Glenn for sharing that. And you know what? I think that was maybe the perfect call to end the show. Because, again, demonstrating that no matter what anyone's personal belief system is, you've got a platform on here. You have a platform to come on and share that, and people can make of that what they will. We've got maybe one last caller. We've got 2 minutes. It's in the UK. We're going to the UK. I don't want to give your phone number out. Who's on the line?
Oh, yeah. All right, Kev.
How's it going, man?
Oh, yeah, not so bad. It's Mikhail off Facebook. You all right, mate?
I'm all right, man, but you've got about 1 minute.
Yeah, right, shadow people. I've had experiences of them from being about 3, 4, like that, something like that in the age. And then when I was about 13, was a family friend got me like really interested in everything occult, and I kind of got like indoctrinated it, and my life ever since been full of them. I've seen everything. I've seen black granite outlines of Jesus spraying at the side of bed. I've had numerous paranormal encounters.
Oh, dude.
Everything.
Oh, man, we're out of time, right? But I'm going to be opening up the phones again, not this week, but next week. And I really hope you can call in then.
Yeah, I'm going to call you show, mate. Of course I will, mate.
No
definitely.
problem, my man. I would love that. So, folks, I'll be back in a moment on the other side on YouTube. But for everyone out there, stay tuned for Lucky and Dr. Brooks Agnew after the break. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Yeah, there we go. And unfortunately, folks, I would love to have kept that caller on the line, right? But because there's another show coming up after me on TFR, unfortunately, I don't have the access to the phone line anymore. So I apologize for not being able to bring Mikhail, I think his name was there. I'm sure he'll message me on Facebook now anyway. But I'm going to hopefully get a phone number for Skype that people can phone into, so that we will be able to take calls when we do the YouTube streams, stuff like that. But I've had a blast tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope we didn't trigger too many people. And what an amazing call that was at the end there. And Kristen, it was somebody called Mikhail or Mikhail. So yeah, I'll find out. The name rings a bell. The name rings a bell over on Facebook. I'm going to trace them down. But that was really good. I really enjoyed that. My mum was tuned in. My brother was tuned in. John says call him. I can't call actual people in the UK with the Skype package I've got. Because I'm on an American network, Skype limits you to specific regions that you buy subscriptions for. And obviously, because it's an American network and that's where I have to connect to the phone lines, I buy the American package. So if I was to try and call Mikhail or Mac, I don't want to get the guy's name wrong. And it sounds like such an interesting story. Here's somebody, Shadow Dudes. It sounds like he was kind of indoctrinated, like he said there. That was the word he uses, into some of these occult practices. I'm guessing this is the other side of the coin from what myself and Tia were talking about earlier. The kind of magic that you would probably call black magic. And that's nothing. And I know, I hope Mikhail, or we'll call him Mike. I don't want to call him something. It's no, I hate being disrespectful. I should have really listened closely there. I'm not saying what he was intentionally dark. That's what I'm meaning to say. But this is a story that I hope we can chase up, and maybe, just maybe, on one of the daytime streams this week or one of the weekend streams, maybe if I can get a hold of that character there, we'll be able to get his Skype. Leave it with me, folks, okay? I'm not going to leave us hanging on that one. That was brilliant. But listen, I've had a blast tonight. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You had to put up with me for 2 hours earlier on today, near enough, on the live stream. Now you've had to put up with me for another 2 hours. At least this time we had Tia to lighten the load, you know. So a big shout out to Tia, Belle, everyone that came over to listen to the show, all of Tia's fans and supporters out there. It's been a blast. I'll be getting back with Tia when we've got an announcement about our new TV projects that are in the pipeline. I've got my fingers crossed. I hope you have too. And a big shout out one last time to everyone out there. I know it's too late to say goodbye to everyone on TFR, but everyone out there over on YouTube. And Jason, yeah, I've gone all USA, man. It's my... Marty, thank you for being here as well. Much love to you, sister. And yeah, I even work my body clocks on American time, folks. It's weird. It's bizarre. But it's the way we roll. So, Tessa, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to go and chill out, get some sleep. Oh, there we go. I've got the name now. I've got the name. Thank you, John. John Nelson, thank you. Teamwork, brother. I like it. And that means I now have that name. That's one to pursue, I think, ladies and gents. Definitely. So listen, folks, I'm out of here. Lisa! You always cheer me up, Lisa. There she is. AOC. Oh, 4 times AOC. There he is. Kev's got me on Facebook. I'm the guy who offered him some music. He knows me. Yes, definitely, dude. Definitely. And we do daytime streams on here as well, Mikhail. So, yeah, if we don't get something before next week, we'll definitely do it via the phone next week, but not just now because it's late in the UK. How about hit me up on Facebook tomorrow, drop me a message. And I know, Mikhail, like I've been saying to everyone all along, I'm terrible usually at getting back to people on Facebook. I don't want to sound like some egotist or narcissist, but you must appreciate that I get a lot of people messaging on there. And that's why sometimes I just can't answer all of them. But now that you've come to the attention of not just me, but all of the audience, oh man, are you going to be really regretful that you've opened this can of worms? Because I'm going to be on your case now, brother. And I love your accent, man. Manchester, Bury, round that area. I'll wait until Mikhail answers that in the chat room. It sounds very mank. And that's just another word for Manchester. It's not anything disrespectful, folks. Discord is the bomb. Get in there. Yeah, Mikhail, if you want to join Discord, I can give you a link and you can talk to everyone in there. There's a voice option. We can call each other. Jason, yep. Roxy, good to see you here, Roxy. And I seen one of our listeners, I think they left because of the way that some of the people were actually reacting to Tia in the first part. I can't remember her name, but I hope she stayed. You know, that's what happens when you get people causing trouble in chats, and it's something we're not used to on here. It's something I really hope we don't have to have a problem with. I knew when we were lining up tonight's show, in fact, it was designed to trigger people. So I was expecting some shenanigans. But just wait till you see when this is posted over on Facebook. Just wait till you see the comment section a week from now here on YouTube. It's going to be insane. People will be so triggered. That's just the way of the world, folks. And Kenny says she did. Well, I hope she'll be back again because I'd hate to think that these internet trolls get a victory like that. So I love you. I'm going to leave you. And yeah, this has been a blast all of today. Each and every one of you. Very, very special people. No, they left because she's a witch. It didn't look like that to me. But hey, I could be wrong. I was only catching little snippets of the conversation. It was one girl I seen was leaving because of the way that people were reacting to Tia. Who knows? Wigan! Yep, Wigan. Good rugby place. Man, we're going to get on well. And definitely, dude. I'll message you tomorrow. You message me or something. I've got shows all this week, so we probably won't be able to do anything on KBS. Next week, there's I don't think I've got any guests apart from Charlie lined up. But tomorrow I've got L.A. Marzulli. We're going to be talking about the Mound Builders of America, his new documentary. And then on Wednesday, I'm joined by director, producer, John Sumple. And we're going to be talking about Extraordinary, The Seeding, a documentary all about alien contactees, alien human hybrid breeding programs, all that kind of stuff right here on TFR on Wednesday. And then to round out the week, I'm going to be joined by my good friend Bill Bean. What a week. I tell you, he's the luckiest guy in the world. Never become a millionaire doing this, but I tell you what, the riches that it brings me in the people I meet, not only guests, but all of you as well, I tell you, it's worth all the grief in the world and then some. So keep your minds open, but not to the point till your brain goes to goo and then falls out your ear. So, one last time with my groovy music. How's that sound? I know you want to. Here we go, folks. I'm out of here.